Liverpool's supposed to be the best offensive team, the sharpest team.
They're not supposed
Create
to. They
the
are.
chances.
They
score
are.
the most goals.
They are.
Play with unbelievable levels. I didn't see it today.
Obviously, the draw against Manchester United, the loss today, but they're still 6 points clear at the top of the Premier League. They've got a game in hand, obviously, against Arsenal. They're still in the next round of the FA Cup. They'll take on Accrington Stanley. They're still at the top of the Champions League, and this tie could potentially be overturned as well. So even though it hasn't been a great week for them, it doesn't really affect them. It's not detrimental at this point of the season in any way.
You had 24 games unbeaten snapped, right? That's the first thing. You don't score a goal. You get shut out by a team, Tottenham, that you scored 6 goals against in the previous matchup. So obviously credit to Tottenham as well for that. You have these contract situations looming. You're only halfway through the season. Still a new manager. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure that this result doesn't speak volumes, because I think also that if you watch the game and they lost 1-0 and they played their football and they had a ton of chances, you could say, okay, no problem. On to the next one, like Virgil van Dijk saying. But for me, I didn't see them. Now I saw them against Man United. Didn't look like themselves. A lot of mistakes. A lot of things that were uncharacteristic to a Liverpool side. And then today...
the Man United one's hard, no. The Man United, I'm not going to have that.
It's a derby. It's a very emotional game. It was an intense game.
All right, let me ask you both a question. Let me ask you both a question real quick. What was their worst game of the season so far? You already answered that question. What was their second worst game of the season so far?
The Girona game.
Okay.
You watched the Girona game?
What was their second worst game in the Premier League in this season? What was their worst game in the Premier League this season?
Probably against Nottingham Forest, where they lost.
They lost to Forest, yes. That's what it is.
Hey, look,
Man United, they were not themselves, and this last game, they were not themselves.
I understand they were not themselves. They were themselves against Man United. Man United played well tactically and stifled them. They didn't create that much, but we cannot say that Liverpool was super poor.
I don't think so.
People will be like, oh, Trent did have a bad game, but they specifically picked on Trent. They picked on the weakness, which is what good managers are supposed to do. You look at the team, you find the weakness, you want to focus on that weakness. That's how it worked against Man United. But we can't say Liverpool are absolutely poor.
They've just played 2 of their worst games back to back.
We're not one of their worst games. Today was their worst game in a cup game.
You can't say that.
Hopefully for Liverpool, it's an anomaly. If you can show me, and Liverpool has shown in the past that they're able to get over one loss and get back into rhythm, this team can do that. You have an FA Cup game that you should win, and then you have a game against Nottingham Forest, the team that beat you, and you got to show that you can get back on the horse. And then comes Champions League. They got to show their personality now because they have a lead. I understand there's signs and there's symptoms of, all right, they're not doing so well in these areas. They're getting beat defensively over here. Konate was not good when he came on. He got shoved off the ball. You got to stay stout. Trent, not good against Manchester United. But there are I think you can find many great points around this Liverpool team that shows that they can get back on the horse.
We've seen Liverpool surprise us the entire season and exceeding expectations when no one thought that this would be the year to win the Premier League, right? They have one bad game, or 1 or 2 bad games, or in different games. This is the worst game I've seen them have today. This is it. This isn't a league game. This is a cup game, and it's a 2 leg. So I don't think it's panic station.
Bobby,
how do you not do that if you're Arne Slot?
I go to sleep at night.
Come on.
I go to sleep at night dreaming about covering these types of games. Liverpool, Tottenham.
Oh my God.
Especially because my boy here is the Premier League. Liverpool's supposed to be the best offensive team, the sharpest team.
They're not supposed to.
Create the chances. Score the most goals.
They are.
Play with unbelievable levels. I didn't see it today. I didn't see it against Man United, and I didn't see it today. That's the reality of the situation. Now, if you're a fan or you're someone who watches Premier League all the time and you say, I'm wrong, okay, fine, I'm wrong. But I didn't see a high-level game today.
You don't think that this is a blip either, is where you're going with it? You think that this is going to kind of trickle on now?
I think you still have a very small sample size of Arne Slot in Liverpool. I think that's the reality of the situation.
I don't think it's as bad or dramatic as Grella's making it. I really don't.
And if I'm making it dramatic, then I'm miscommunicating what I'm saying.
But we can't act like Tottenham absolutely dominated the game and were creating chances. We said it. Both teams were poor. Liverpool have been such high standards and high level for such a long time where you'd have to say, OK, today it didn't work. And also, we could probably question the team selection and the changes. We always talk much about how good teams, you have consistency. He made a couple of changes. Players who got an opportunity didn't take their chance. Again, you talk about moments in football matches. Nunes had the best chance for a striker to score that goal. Keeper pulls up a big save. These are things that play a big part in football. We've been talking all about Mo Salah. As a striker, you want to compete. You want to show people that you're just as good. You get your moment, you don't take it again. If Nunes scores that goal, it's a different conversation we're having. So there's so many different elements we can talk about.
And I think you can ask the how. How did Liverpool lose this game? How did they tie the Manchester United game? And I'll give you that. There are moments, because when Liverpool were up 2-1 against Manchester United, they shut off and they lost that game. They allowed Manchester United to get back into the game. And those moments, those small details start showing trends. It's on these players to show that they can get out of this trend and shift it into a positive direction again. Liverpool, who have taken so much from Jurgen Klopp, Arne Slot has, and given this team that similar type of mentality, they're the ones that'll prove you wrong in a couple of weeks. Or maybe they'll prove you right. We don't know.
Do you know what?
But I'm not...
I've seen some cracks here in the last two games.
It's difficult for me to see the glass half empty.
That's fair to say, though. He's seen some cracks in the last.
I mean, we could stay here. We don't have enough time because we could stay here for another week straight. If you guys are trying to convince me that you saw a good game of football today, it would never happen.
Listen, I don't think they're as bad as you're making out to be, but I say we've got to give credit to Tottenham, because Tottenham went at their best. They grinded it out, and they still come out with a 1-0 lead. So they give themselves a real good opportunity.
So you give me credit to Tottenham and Man United. That's why you're saying Liverpool have had two of their poor
You've got to give credit to both sides of it. At the end of the day, Tottenham weren't great, and they got the result at home, which is what they're supposed to do. But I'm not going to say.
But that's what I'm saying. Tottenham were not great today. They were okay.
I think that massive moment with Bentancur, we hope he's okay, was a big deciding factor in this. The crowd went quiet, the atmosphere dropped out, and it made the game a little bit easier for Spurs, in my opinion, because it was starting to be Liverpool going really well. And then also, you have to say, on the balance of play, Spurs, yes, while they got the goal, that's a massive decision that's gone in their favour. Keeper's done well on his debut. I feel that Liverpool will still be really confident.
I liked as well what Ange said about the explanation. Thought that was really interesting. They played an advantage. That's why it's not a second yellow.
From a Liverpool perspective, how much can you read into these two performances, Geoff? Which side do you fall on? Do you fall on the side with Grella, that it's not looking so good, or do you side with the boys that it's just a bit of a blip for them?
Oh, 100% just a bit of a blip, because, look, they were on the verge of making history tonight. It would have been an all-time club record, undefeated in 25 games. That just shows you what an extraordinary run it is. Look, before the game, I said I fancied Tottenham to get something from this because there's something about them. And as Virgil said in his interview with Troy, these games are coming thick and fast. And when you chop and change the team, you do lose a little bit of rhythm. You do lose a little bit of that continuity. And I thought that showed in a couple of places tonight. Also, as well, Spurs rode their luck too, as well. It wasn't a terrible performance by Liverpool, but I think you've really got to give great credit to Tottenham, because they beat the most informed team in Europe, still with 4 probably guaranteed first starters. So it's a fantastic result for Tottenham. It didn't need to be a brilliant performance. It was all about the result to give themselves a fighting chance for that second leg at Anfield. And don't forget, they will have players back as well. So they will go there with real belief.
Absolutely. I mean, you got to give Spurs credit, because just like Geoff says, it was ugly, but they took care of business and they got it done against the most informed team in probably Europe's top 5 in all of Europe. But Geoff, I want to ask you something. Maybe you can investigate, right? Because I would like to know who told Ange that after giving advantage, you don't give a yellow, because IFAB hasn't said that. I haven't heard. He himself said he didn't know. I have not heard that from any authoritative, any lawmakers, anybody in the world of football, that now all of a sudden, after you give an advantage, you don't book.
Well, my good buddy can answer that, because as well as becoming a reporter now, he's also done the other side of our job, the investigative work. Troy, what do you got for us?
So I just texted a referee friend of mine who works in the Premier League, and he said exactly what Ange said, word for word, before we even went down to see Ange. So apparently now, if that tackle happens, the referee can play on. It only goes back to give a yellow card if he deems it to be a reckless foul. Not a late tackle like we just said, but a reckless, dangerous tackle. Then they could go back and yellow card him. The weird part about it, the double jeopardy for Liverpool was, because of that tackle, they lost Tsimikas for the 30 seconds, which then Spurs went on to go and score. So it's not necessarily great. Everyone in the whole building, I'm sure you guys see it out there, felt that it was going to be a sending off. But it certainly altered that momentum again, going in Spurs' favour.
I can't disagree more with that, because that totally alters the way the game is being played. When you have a yellow card, you have to change the way you play football when you have a yellow card, or the manager is forced to make a sub because that player has to be less aggressive. So you can't run around with a yellow card and make challenges like that and leave your feet. That changes the game the way we know it. Number one. Number two, hold on, Nico, 1 second. I want to be clear what I said about Liverpool. I only said facts about Liverpool. I said the last 2 games were probably their 2 most poor performances, and that we still only have a small sample size of Arne Slot. When I woke up this morning, I thought I'd watch the best team in the world play, and I didn't see that. That's all I said about Liverpool. Not that now the alarm bells are going off. Just so that we're clear.
Yeah.
You finished?
Yes.
What did Christina Uncle say about? What did she say about the yellow card?
Christina said
Christina
said it was a second yellow. It should have been a bookie because it's tactical foul. And what I'm not understanding is now the onus has to be on Liverpool to say, all right, you know what? Don't play at advantage. I'd send them off. So you stop playing. Now it's on Liverpool to understand.
But then they're saying that the referee doesn't deem it a reckless challenge.
Then that's a mistake by the referee.
The
because
referee messed up.
It stops a promising attack. I can look up the laws of the game. I have the app of the International Football Association Board app on my phone, on my iPad, always to bring a reference. That is textbook stopping a promising attack under caution.
It was also reckless, by the way, but.
I just want to know why we're trying to make something. The referee messed up. Is that simple?
Yeah.
Anyone else have an argument? You can't have an argument.
Because the conversation is that with the new ruling, that it was not a mistake, that it was something that they've been speaking about.
I want to see IFAB. I want to see, and I might not know. This might slip under my radar. I'm all over. I want to see the IFAB, the International Football Association Board, show us that they have now changed that. That's all I want to see.
Well, we'll await that news.
Nico, you do that. You can march to Capitol Hill. You can have a banner. You can do what you want. They ain't getting it back. They scored. End of.
This is the last time we're going to see you tonight, boys. Has it been a nice night? Have you enjoyed your time together in London? And actually, Troy, are you going to make the trip to Newcastle in a couple of weeks' time?
Of course, I'm ready. Don't you worry, I'll be there. We'll be interviewing some. It'll be all good.
CBS will send you security.
We're in a position. No problem. No, what you need to understand is, with all of this, throughout all of the nonsense of what we just spoke about with the referee and the decision, we've had 2 very good games of football, completely different games of football. Both ties are still in the balance.
Yep.
In a month's time, we're going to go there with different expectations. We could end up with a Newcastle Spurs final. We was talking off air. That is the best situation for everyone from a standpoint.
Don't say that. You'll get us the Liverpool and the Arsenal fans hate.
It's all right. I'm just crossing off where I can't go.
It's a long list.
But I'm in a situation now where I just feel like, storyline-wise, both of those teams, with the way that they play, with whoever wins, it's going to be a massive story. I just think it's great anyway. So we're in a wonderful position. And yes, Poppy, if I'm allowed to go, I will be there, because I never back down from a challenge.
It's not security needs, it's diplomacy lessons. But we're working on it, bud, aren't we? We're working on it.
Perfect. You can help him, Geoff. Good stuff. Good to see you both. Enjoy the rest of your night. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.